So traditionally the TEs have been used most in mobile phones, and I think most of the regulation there has happened in the past. It's a relatively stable market, and not a lot is happening there. What is changing and what is exciting is other markets. Automotive is an exciting new market for us. There's a lot of regulation in automotive. WP29 is the biggest standard that everyone's talking about, and that's putting requirements on cybersecurity for auto manufacturers, and they're looking to solutions such as the TE to help address those. More broadly in IoT, I think there's a huge amount of interest, but it's taking a little longer. So discussion just earlier, I'd say it's a year or two behind automotive, but they're the two big areas which are really exciting. So probably the biggest thing that we're doing at the moment is we've been looking at the recent chip changes. So the new ARM architecture, which technically is ARM 8.4, but it's often called ARM v9, is adding a lot of support for hypervisors within the TE. So this is basically bigger chips can do more than they used to be able to do, and we've been extending our architecture specifications and our APIs to control those. At the other end of the scale, there's a lot more interest in small computers, so MCUs. These happen in all of the IoT devices, and with the work with the new CESIP certifications, we're looking very closely at how you can protect those and certify, small devices that might only cost $1 or $2. So the big change really is that more applications, more types of devices are using this technology. The TEs traditionally were, as I said, mobile phones is where a lot of this came from, but those processors are getting reused. Smartwatches are mobile phones in another form. Arguably an IVI unit in a car, again, it's a mobile phone with a much bigger screen. So the basic technology is the same, but the needs are slightly different. There may be needs for more biometric authentication, for example. There's a huge interest in automotive of being able to detect if a driver is alert, for example, by monitoring them. So those needs for additional functions is pushing more needs into the TE, so that these larger and broader range of applications. In small IoT devices, it's even more diverse, because there the chips are often specialized, they have additional purposes. Some are protected against hardware attacks, some are waterproof or have very long batteries, and we need solutions that can fit all range of needs, because everyone is beginning to recognize, which is a really good thing, that security is not optional, and you need to build this into your device from the start. So I think it's pretty fundamental. People talk about what is a connected device, and it's almost what isn't. Some devices have a SIM card and are connected directly to a GSMA network, and we know how to protect that. We have a lot of groups within GlobalPlatform that work specifically on protecting that sort of technology. Other devices may be connected over all sorts of new networks, or they may not be connected at all for the most part, and then occasionally you plug them in to a USB cable to update their firmware or to download some data. So there's a very broad range of devices needing protection. The simplest way for a developer is just to take some open source software or apply something from a different domain and plug it into their device. But if they do that, they haven't really thought about security. What we're enabling is them to take technologies which have been certified for the TE for demanding industries such as payment and mobile, and reapply those into other application domains. There's a number, and they do overlap. Connectivity itself is really important. So whilst we are not doing Wi-Fi chips, for example, we are doing things such as secure TLS stacks to secure that communication. And attestation is really important. So this means that you know that the device that's connecting to your service actually is a genuine device. So attestation in lots of different forms is really important for that. Beyond that, a lot of interest is just in I would say, bog standard cryptography. If you want to protect messages or sign messages, you need crypto to do that. But if you use a TE to enable this, because it's software, you can update that. And there's a huge interest in post-quantum crypto or in changing crypto regulations. So having that flexibility of software is something which is greatly interesting. But the applications go on and on. One of the unique things about the TE is it allows the secure software to have access to peripherals, so secure peripherals. So for a medical device or a payment device, it can have sensors or screens which are only accessible to the secure environment. So it's a hugely varied set of applications once you get to IoT. Everybody as much as possible is a simple answer. So we have a lot of involvement from experts from the mobile domain. I would particularly like to see involvement from those who have knowledge of other domains, so automotive in particular, medical and other IoT areas. From each domain, the chip makers need to make sure that they can get the technology into their chips. For TEs, this is very mature. We know how to do this, we've done it for a long time. But as we use to MCUs, there's a lot more flexibility, there's a lot more opportunities for MCU vendors to differentiate. So having them understand what the possibilities are, it's great to get their involvement. And then further up the supply chain, we really want to see industries certifying their solutions, because that proves that they're good. So we need to have more involvement with certification bodies in each of these verticals so they can understand how our technology can help secure their devices.